Looking up, that's why.
We're live, and they can wave and they can join in and be part of the lunchtime learnings with Ryan Woolfenden and kids and wife from the lovely
Lake Garda, yeah.
Lake Garda.
Yeah.
Incredible. So how are you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Good. Yeah.
Coming to an end.
How long have you been away for?
32 days so far.
So far, okay.
Yeah.
How many more days?
One more.
Okay.
Drive back tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I bet you can't wait.
Good.
Well, anyway, look, thanks very much for joining me. I'm really grateful for you joining me from away. You obviously put on that you're reading an exceptional book at the moment that you've bought.
Read it. Yeah.
Good. Thank God for that, because I can't remember what's in it. But John McGrath
sent me this.
Who's that then?
You.
Me. Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for everybody watching. Thank you for everybody watching on replay for joining. So tell us about, how did you get an agency? Because you used to be a footballer and a boxer.
Well, I don't know about boxer, but footballer, yeah, very, very briefly for Bournemouth, yeah. But that came to an end, and I had to decide what I wanted to do. Got a first proper job in an insurance company, one of those ones where you sit with your headset on and the life drains out of you. And I just thought, is this what I want to be doing at 40 years old, sat in a call centre? And there's nothing against that. You know, if that's what you want to do and that's what you have to do to pay bills, fair enough. But I could not envisage my life being that way. So applied for a job in property. I've always liked it, you know, with Custy and Phil and Grand Designs and all that type of stuff. And you look at a lot of affluence and it comes from property. So yeah, applied for a job as a sales negotiator for one company and a lettings negotiator for another. And the lettings one paid more. So obviously, being a typical agent, and you know, inbred into you chase the money. And yeah, started my career in lettings 13 years ago, I think it was now. Yeah, 2008.
Wow. And then you ended up running your own business.
Yes. Yeah. What a journey. And it's amazing how much you learn when it's your own business, and how sometimes naive you are to what you think you know and what you actually know. That reality gap, you know, perhaps what that Damien Hughes was saying about, was it the Dunkirk? I can't remember the law. You know, the knowledge gap of what you know, your self-awareness of what you think you can do and what you can't. So it's a bit of a rude awakening setting up your own business. But yeah, I've loved it. I'm unemployable now, so I've got to make it work, really.
So what made you decide, you know what, I'm going to have my own business, I'm going to run my own agency rather than be a negotiator? Because that's quite a brave move. Yeah.
It's not something I sort of ever had an aspiration to do. My parents were in their own business, and frankly, that put me off because I just know how it sort of consumes your life. And it was Keely's dad, really. He kept on saying, Ryan, you know, you treat it as if it's your own business. You're making all this money for someone else. Why don't you do it yourself? And he'll back me, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I'm happy, getting paid a nice wage, you know, that comfort blanket of paid holidays and everything else. And he sadly passed away very, very suddenly. And, you know, just before we got married, actually. And you know, it takes sometimes, you know, like Tom Panos says, gift badly wrapped, that type of stuff. Yeah. And it made me think, you know what, I should do this for me and my family, and me and Keely, and you know, if I want to have kids, have something that they can get into. So then I started planning, and within about 6 months, I'd taken the plunge and done it. So
we didn't mess around then.
Oh, it was surprising for me, because I normally take ages to make a decision and deliberate. But yeah, I think sometimes when it gets to the point where the uncomfort, you know, you're so uncomfortable, or you know, there's so much friction there, it makes you make a decision, didn't it? So yeah, there's nothing like, you know, a life-changing event like that to make you do something.
And you said you've learned a lot of lessons along the way.
Yes.
Before I ask you what they are, hi Hayley, thanks for joining us. Hi Mr. Overman. Ryan is back from holiday. No, he's not. He does look great, but he has not out of quarantine yet. Okay,
Not yet.
but not yet. So coming back, lessons. So roller coaster, being your own boss, running your own business, having a partner.
Yeah, massively so. It is, isn't it? It's. I think I've learned now, because I've been doing it for a few years, well, 12 years, that when it's really good, to bring yourself back down and start preparing for other stuff and not get too carried away. But perhaps more importantly, when you think it's about to turn to shit, and there have been several times when that's looked likely, to remember that keep doing the right things, and the results will follow. There's always a bit of lag time in agency, isn't there? That Jeb, Fanatical Prospecting, great book. It's about the 90-day cycle, and I think that's the great thing about agencies. That if you persevere, you're resilient. Within 90 days, you can really change your outlook, your financial position, everything. So yeah.
Okay,
so I think I've got used to that, the roller coaster of just being a bit more stoic about it all, really.
Okay, so we've already got a question in for you.
Yeah.
From Hack, who's got an agency in Sheffield that he's just going to be starting soon. So thanks for joining, Hack, and thanks for joining Anthony as well. How would you best start sales in 2020? I'll let you go first.
How would I start sales? I mean,
Yeah.
I'd be obsessed with customer experience. If you look at all the businesses that have thrived, you look at what the pain points are for the customer and solve the problem. What is the pain point? I think look at buyer representation for a start. For me, that is such an underdeveloped angle in the UK compared to Australia, America, most of the rest of the world. So I think just be obsessed about the customer experience. When you look at Amazon, Uber, Netflix, all those type of businesses, and they're so simple, and you just think, how could I have not done that? So I think just know what your customers want and be obsessed about delivering it. We do loads and loads of market research, and that's only something I've started doing in the last 2 years. And again, I look back and think, why was I not doing this sooner? Asking my customers what they want. It's madness that we didn't do it sooner, because you sometimes, as an agent, you just think like an agent. That's the problem, and you get stuck in doing the same thing that everyone else does. And then it becomes really hard to compete. In fact, the only thing you can compete then on is price, and it becomes a race to the bottom. So I think if you can really figure out what it is that your customers, that the people that you want to serve, want, solve that problem, that's the best angle to start with, really.
Okay, so you said you've done some market research recently.
Yep.
Would you be kind enough to share what that was?
Yeah, so it's about fees, hot topic, I'm sure, with agents, but about fixed fees and upfront marketing fees specifically. Surveyed past customers of ours, current customers of ours, potential future customers of ours, so people that live in our farm area, and also people on the market with other agents. And this will probably be like a hyper-local issue. What people of Poole are prepared to do could be completely different from Manchester, from London. So I think that's why it's important to research the people that are in the area that you're going to serve. But I don't remember how many people we surveyed, but it was roughly about 70 or 80. And I remember the stat: 78% were prepared to pay upfront for marketing, which staggered me, because again, you get sort of this block thinking like an agent of, oh, no one will pay up front for marketing, no one will pay up front for marketing, or no one else is doing it, especially not where we are, no one else is doing it. And I think it was about 60% of people preferred fixed fee, which I thought was a bit lower than I anticipated, because I suspect more people want fixed fees. But again, it's asking good questions, which you're obviously, Stephen, a legend at, but finding out for the 40% why they didn't want fixed fees. And it seemed to be this thinking that if they're on a percentage, that you would work harder to get a better price. But when I explain to them that we get 1% of the additional price, and the negotiator probably gets about £5 for every 10 grand extra they get in the purchase price, they soon realised actually there wasn't much of an incentive at all. So you're able to convert those people into fixed fees, especially if you can demonstrate your price achieved and days of market and all those other relevant stats. So yeah, we've rolled that out now. We have 3 marketing packages: Essential, Essential Plus, and Premium. And they range from being upfront costs starting at 300, Essential Plus 500, and Premium 1,200. And yeah, it's gone quite well so far.
Fantastic. So that's great. And what was people? In fact, I want to come back on something that Hack said. So that's why I'm thinking the wheels are going round. So what would I do? At the moment, I would run a Facebook or Instagram poll asking people, are they looking to move before the stamp duty holiday ends, March 2021? Simple yes or no. Okay. And then from that, I think you're going to pick up people and find out who need to do it. And that's at the moment, I think it's a great time to be an agent, because I think everybody realizes that they need more space. They hate their husband, they hate their kid, whatever it is. Okay. So, now's a good time where people actually do need to move. And if we do go back in curfew, or if we have a curfew, which people were talking about, then people will soon realize that actually now's the time that they want to be moving and upsizing, downsizing. So I'll be asking questions, doing these polls and finding out who wants to move in your area. I just did a training session this morning, and there were 4 people in the room, and they all own houses. And I asked all of them whether they were in their dream home. They all said no. And I said, if I was to find you your dream home within your price, would they all consider moving? They all said yes. And I had 4 instructions. Okay. So it's all about asking. It's all about asking questions and getting there. Hi, Shell. Thanks for joining us. I will have a look at your video, I promise. Don't know when, but it's been busy, but I will get to it. So let's talk about books. Okay. So the best agent I've ever come across is a guy called John McGrath in Australia. And he's written a book called You Inc., which you nicked off me. And taken on your
posted to Jess as well, haven't I? I've got to post it to Jess when I get back.
And it's been on the journey as well. And now in quarantine. So your thoughts, and I know obviously you follow the Australian model and you've spoken about Australia and you've mentioned some Planos in this. What did you take from the book, and what would help people watching this today?
I think the simple stuff, and probably when I first started the business, I thought it was all wishy-washy crap. But you essentially, you've got to create something mentally before it happens physically. That visualization of it. And I just thought that's wishy-washy rubbish, but it's true, because it gets you majorly laser focused on what you want to achieve. And I think if you can visualize something clearly, you can ask yourself questions all the time. Will this help me get to that point, or won't it? And John McGrath has a little list of his affirmations on his shower, so he sees them day in, day out, and it's little simple stuff like that. And again, people might think that that's a load of crap, but genuinely, since I've started doing stuff like that, writing to my future self, when we did the thing, Stephen, where you posted it to us back at the end of the year to see whether we'd done stuff.
Yeah,
it was really interesting to see that actually I think I did 80-90% of what I said I was going to do. And I think if you write down and make that commitment to yourself, share it, put pressure on yourself to achieve it, I think then it follows. Another thing I really liked about the book was that every bit of success in business can be replicated. That success leaves clue. Just watch. I do it all the time. And Keely's like, why do you always look at other businesses and everything else? Like Assad, I'm like his stalker. He's going to have to set an injunction out of me soon. But I just want to know what it is that they do at location that makes them so great. Spencer at Paramount. I mean, the best lettings business in the. Find out what they do speak to them, because they're super generous with their time as well. That's the great thing, and then copy it. is that
guarantee?
Yeah, exactly. But you can then tweak it and put your own twist on it, can't you? I don't want to have a business exactly like Asad's or exactly like Spencer's. I want to have my version of it. But there's a lot that you can take away, and there's a lot of similarities. Find out the best business like that model that's similar to yours, and then just R&D. And it is that simple. But it was really interesting to read his journey in the book, because it made you feel like, oh, I've been there. He's human after all, I've been there, 5 years running a business, barely made a bean to start with. And then all of a sudden, I remember the first 5, so it's all those types of stuff as well. Just nice to listen to someone else that's been there, said it, and clearly done it all.
No, it's a fantastic book, and one that I would highly recommend. Just make sure that you don't try and have a go with Andy Overman when you're trying to buy it, because I know everyone who's watching this, you're all now going to go on Amazon to buy a copy of a book.
60 quid, isn't it?
And it went from about 12p initially, and then by the end, when everybody was on it, it was about 20 quid. So
I tried it on Amazon. I think I was 60 quid. I was like, wow. And then luckily I got a copy in the post from you shortly after, so it saved me a few quid.
Yeah, no, it's a great book. But actually, you're right. And when John was on the Breakfast Learnings, he makes agency look so simple. And I think agency is simple, and a lot of agents overcomplicate it. And I think most of the time it's what's your plan. So, agency is about prospecting, listing, negotiating and selling. And if you can master those 4 disciplines, and the 5th one's adjusting price, then it's going to make a massive, massive difference. And again, I think what scares me, and I've done another session this morning on choice management, and we're talking about, well, what must you do on a daily basis? And for me, a non-negotiable has to be prospecting every day. But again, when I was doing the training this morning with those 4 people, they'd all owned homes anything from 2 to 8 years, and not one of them had a call from the agent that they bought their property through. And that's scary. And actually, that's quite a simple thing to do. Have a proper system in place where you are constantly in contact with them. So I'm quite excited next week. I'm speaking to somebody who's developed a system where they've got 36 touch points throughout the course of the year. So I'm just fascinated to know more, and whether it will absolutely work in agency.
And I think the key thing is make sure it gets done. We've got some great processes using Asana, but if the team don't buy into them and the team then don't do them, that's where it can fall apart. And I think that's where the struggle comes as a business owner, as opposed to someone working on it day to day as an agent, is trying to get, you're in control of your own actions, but it's how you get that buy-in. And that's something, I'm still trying to master, to get the team to understand, look, this is why it's so important. And not think like agents, like, oh yeah, but they're pestering. George has bought into it completely now. I said to him, until they say no, stop calling me, don't give up. And the amount of times he's got business off the 11th or 12th text message call, where most agents will just give up after the 3rd or 4th. So
yeah, look, I mean, we had that. We were talking with Damien on Tuesday, and it's all about resilience.
Yeah.
And again, Jeb Blunt, who you mentioned earlier, it's that one last call. One more call. You think, oh, and this is what it is a hard business. You do get loads and loads of knockbacks.
Got a love rejection, haven't you?
Yeah. But then you just make that last call, and then guess what happens? But you need to be incredibly resilient in this business in order to do that. I mean, you touched on Asana. Okay. How's that benefiting your business, and what does it actually do for people that are watching it and, like me, haven't got a clue?
It helps make things consistent. I think one of the things that I obsessed about was consistency. I didn't want a customer, prior to Asana, we could probably have 2 customers with us, and one of them say we're 10 out of 10, fantastic, best agent on the earth. The other one was just like, meh, they're average. And I think it's having that level of consistency so that things get done at the same time in the same way. And I think that's really hard for buy-in sometimes, because people aren't robots, and they like to think, oh yeah, but I can just do it my way and all that sort of stuff. But there needs to be in our case, a leader fox way of doing it, and it has helped get us into a bit tighter framework of what happens when we do a price reduction, when we withdraw a property, when we list a property, when we do a market appraisal. So it's helped us be a bit more systematic and processed, rather than just relying on charisma and personality alone. Still need that, but in conjunction with a good set of processes.
Okay, and I know you like your tech in your business. So what else do you use that works and has made a difference to you?
Akaboom. I really like for the market appraisal presentation and the keeping in touch with the market reports. So I really like Akaboom. For lettings, I like Good Lord and Agent OS. Good Lord is really great at the pre-move-in stage. An Agent S for account, for me, second to none. There's loads. It's difficult. I've probably tried to scale back the tech, Steve, because it just becomes a distraction, doesn't it? Everyone, we all want that silver bullet. What tech can we use that means that I can sit on my arse and not have to do my proper job? So actually, the best bit of tech, it's cliche, isn't it? It's the telephone, isn't it?
100%. It's your mobile phone. I was just about to.
I stole that from you, didn't I?
Put my phone up, and then I saw Mincy was on here, so I don't want to show him anything. No worries. No. Welcome, David Mintz. How are you?
Hi, gorgeous.
So another question, Hack. We're looking at buyers paying 1.5% to 2%. Do you think that will work?
If your proposition's right, yeah, absolutely. Joe, who works for me, does buyer representation, and he gets 2% quite frequently, and gets a £2,000 upfront initial payment. So, look, you solve their problem, and the fee becomes a lot less relevant than you think it is in your head. That's the key thing. Ask great questions, get good answers, propose a solution that works for them, and people will pay for it. Are you telling me someone won't pay 10 grand to you if you found that absolute perfect home, or 20 grand? I think Joe's average fee was about 23 grand. So it shows that people do pay for it, and you need to get out of the thinking that people won't. I think I think absolutely you can get buyers to pay that, as long as you deliver. That's the key thing, isn't it? They won't pay you if you don't deliver, but if you stick to what you promise them, then they will.
Okay.
Good luck with it.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Jeremy. Hack, let us know if that answers your question. Hopefully it does. Interesting then. So you've looked at buyer representation. There's most probably a lot. I mean, as you said earlier, it happens a lot in Australia. It happens a lot in America, and it very rarely happens here. Huge opportunity for agents to get involved. But what made you take the plunge and get Joe on board?
He's just a super nice guy to start with, and I think it's like anything in this industry. If you really like someone, I think you can work together. You'll find a method to make it work. And to be honest with you, we are still refining that relationship with him, but something that I won't give up on, because I just think that there is so much opportunity there. Think about how many on your average database as an agency today, how many applicants you register that do not buy from you. What, 97, 98%? Probably. I think that's our average is between 97 and 98% of applicants that we register do not buy. What a huge opportunity that is. It's just mental, isn't it? I just think it's mental. You only have to convert like 2 or 3% of those, and you've doubled your income. Why wouldn't you give that a shot? Everything's for agencies about generating new business. But you've already got so much business in your database. We're looking at setting up a mortgage brokerage. That's something that was on the roadmap for this year as well. And again, it's just something, and that was with Peter Knight, really, about being a property service company, not just a sales company or a lettings company. It's about being property service. So everything with property, Everything with property we need to sort out.
Well, it's interesting because I've got a guest next week, James DePavey. Do you know James?
I don't know.
So actually, we were talking, and he's got his own legal firm as well. So you're talking about, mortgages, legal, buyer representation, and actually then you are solving all these problems.
Look at Spencer with the property maintenance for Paramount, doing refurbs for his clients. I mean, that solves such a big problem for his clients, doesn't it? And because of their trust and the way they do things, why wouldn't they use them? And that's something that we want to do once we grow our lettings book a bit bigger as well, is have an in-house maintenance department. But I think that's what I want Leader Fox to be, is a complete property service. Someone's got a dripping tap, they call us. Someone wants to look after the keys for a second home, they call us. Obviously if they want to sell or let, they call us too. But anything to do with property, I want them to call us.
Yeah, and actually, again, that's what Peter was saying when he was on last week. Actually, we don't stay in touch with people, but a homeowner may need a plumber, a roofer, and who do we deal with the whole time? And if that's another way of keeping in touch when people do come to sell, who they're going to come back to.
Keeping in touch, isn't it?
And guess what? They're going to pay you the fee that you deserve as well as a result of it. 100%.
We can get people that do that have sold through us that literally don't question the fee then, because we are actually pretty good at keeping in touch. Josh Vegan, geo-based prospecting, great thing. You sell a house, someone 6 months later, another one pops up on the road. Send it to them. Great news. This one's just been listed for 600,000. What do you think that makes yours worth? They're all that little dialogues, but you need to get with it and do it. And the amount of times that people think if they've made a few quid, they might not necessarily sell that one, but they might remortgage and do a buy to let. There's always opportunities.
100%. We go to the same school.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so one of the things that
I'm a student, that's why.
One of the things that I like, that I think you do very well, is the price feedback that you give to your vendors and your landlords. So again, if you're happy to, can you share what that's all about, please?
So what we want to do is build up a picture of what buyers are thinking the property's worth to our clients. For me, feedback often is wishy-washy stuff, and I'm quite direct and I like stats anyway. So we implemented a real simple system of what did they think of the price, what did they think of the presentation, and location as well. I mean, obviously there's not much you can do about location, but often that is something that's factored into someone's decision making. And we always try and get a price off the buyer. And it can sometimes generate offers, crap offers, but offers nonetheless. At what price is this property a no-brainer for you? Based on others you've seen, how much you think the property's worth. Just get them to commit to a price and then relay that to your client. And then all of a sudden, if you get, if you've done 10 viewings and they've not had any price feedback, and then you get an offer that you think's quite a decent offer, and they go, oh, well, we'll see how it goes. Whereas if you've told them 9 other people have thought the price is X, Y, and Z, then when you get an offer, especially if that offer's better than the previous prices, they're much more likely to accept it because they've been better informed. And I think as agents, what we've got to do is make our clients better informed so they can make a better decision. So we always try and get price feedback on every single viewing, even if it's not for them. Look, I appreciate that's not for you because the location's not quite right. But based on others you've seen, what do you think the property's worth? It's a real simple question, and then relay it to the client.
Brilliant. Oh, we're going to party now. We're going to dance.
Yeah.
Well, I also know, talking about dancing, you like market raps. And I know you've got your kids in your background, and I believe they're going to do the latest market rap on Leader Fox in Poole.
They did a rap. Did you see it? I'm not sure if you saw it. They did do a rap.
Yeah.
They did do a rap. Yeah.
So
you've been Jerry for that one.
you've been pretty consistent actually, doing your market raps. Why do you think it's so important for agents to be? I started doing it post lockdown really, mainly because I was worried about buyers
and sellers reading the newspaper, thinking the world's about to end, and just, you know, stagnating. And I think if you can provide them with information, to be honest, whether it's good or bad, you know, there's going to be a time in the market wrap where I say it's going to be a buyer's market. That is going to come. I'm not going to suddenly stop doing them because it's switched from a seller's market to a buyer market. But by doing that, I think it just helps. And it's amazing how many people beyond the likes and the comments that see them. You know, the amount of times that I get a message saying, you know, 3 weeks later, oh, great, I saw this, or, you know, great about that. And I think it just gives you that authoritative figure. And I think that's what you should be doing in your area, is making yourself the authority on your local property market. And that builds trust then. If you can back that up with evidence as well, you know, like I like to say, how many properties come to the market, number of new listings, sales agreed. It's factual. They can't really argue, and it shows that you know what you're talking about. So yeah, they've been really, really well received. Hopefully, I can start delegating it to the team, and they can start picking them up and start doing them rather than have my ugly mug on them every week.
So Abigail, thanks for joining us. Low offers, owners blame the market. Okay, and no offers, they blame the agent.
I think they want an offer. An offer makes a decision, doesn't it? No offer, no decision, and that's the key thing. Yeah, I'd much rather have a crap offer, and I tell that to clients at the start. Sorry about the noise. I tell clients that at the start. You know, look, don't shoot the messenger. My job is to legally present offers forward to you. They're not always going to be great. Couldn't turn up any louder, could they? Might move in a second. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I don't know about everybody else, but
yeah.
So,
move over. So with me.
I'm working in my company rather than running the company.
Oh, this is hack.
Yeah, working in my company rather than running the company. How can I change? So
that's a new hack. You need to make that commitment to do it. That's all on you, I'm afraid. You know, I think we've all been there as business owners when we worked as agents to do it, but you need to do it. Let me just move because turn the volume up.
Can you translate as well?
Yeah, I'll tell them to be quiet. I think the tennis is on.
Okay, so Andy, yes, he is still away, but he's back tomorrow. If you watch from the start, you would know what's going on, Mr. Overman. Okay, so
I think Andy's just jealous, isn't he?
He is well, actually, he's had.
Is Andy on furlough still?
He is still on furlough, so
He's
yeah.
on one already, then, isn't he?
To the end of a month. So, to answer your question, what gets scheduled gets done. So again, I've just done a session on choice management. You need to schedule certain things in your diary to make sure you're focusing on the most important things, and just get them done. And don't make excuses. You know, so Ryan and I have committed to put this in at 12:30. It's scheduled in the diary. We may have loads of music and noise behind us, but we're still trying to put it on so everybody can listen. So at least give Ryan some likes and shares for being in quarantine and sharing all his words of wisdom that he's doing. Come on, we need some more likes. Tag some people in. Okay, share it to all your friends. So Andy says, loves your attitude on fees. Yeah, still furloughed and leaving current employers at the end of the month.
And he helped with that right at the start. Remember him putting on a little masterclass for us in Birmingham?
Yeah, no, very good. So you got another book there, I saw. So what else are you reading at the moment?
Oh, this is Asad's recommendation. This is actually, Hack, probably a good book for you. About things like time blocking and having different types of time. So like you have your firefighting time, your buffer time where you're just responding to emails and all that kind of stuff. But you actually block like 3 hours a week on pure strategy and growth and all that type of stuff. So probably a good book for you to read, actually. It's not that long. It's an easy read. The 12-week year. But really good book. That was from Asad, that.
Okay, there you go. Does that answer your question as well? Neil Giller, first come on here. Okay. And he just says he loves that. Just read this. So what else has influenced you?
Sorry, what else?
what else has influenced you, or who else has influenced you in your estate agency career?
I think just hang around with good people. You know, if you're, you know, it's all cliches, isn't it? But if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You know, just surround yourself by quality people, and it does rub off on you. You know, there's so many great coaching available. You know, Josh Fegan's coaching courses. Obviously, you're training with agency mentors and stuff. Just you know, put yourself in a room with good agents, and you will naturally pick some nuggets up naturally, and just have that growth mindset. And that's not something I've always had. You know, when I first started the business, I thought I was, you know, shit hot, knew everything, best thing since sliced bread. And then you start to learn, and you realise what you're capable of and what you can do. And it's just a constant journey, isn't it? Getting better and better, learning more and more.
100%. I mean, Nelly said, "Do you think you can read too much? I didn't hear too many opinions."
Yeah, I think you can. I think if it stops you taking action, I think the key thing is action, isn't it? You know, it is such, you know, you can read all the books but never do anything in your life. You've got to follow through with it, you know, and you pick the bits that you like and ignore the bits that you don't like. But you can read too much. Obviously, I'm reading loads. I'm on holiday, so you know there's not as much action that can be taken. And also, I want to change a few bits around. But I think if you read a book and don't take any action from it, it's been a shit book, really. You should always take an action after reading the book.
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Well, they're the ones we put into action, and you're right. You pick and choose what you want.
David. Appreciate that, pal.
Yeah, we won't read that one out, David Mintz. But Neil Gill, I like that one. Surrounding yourself with those better than you is the best way for me. Each time their own, I guess. Spot on. There you go. Thank you. David Mintz, who? Never heard of him. So I know that I'm going to get you to go because I want you to go and enjoy your time, your last day with your family.
You're always calling me.
A late Garda. So, couple final questions. What are Ryan's non-negotiables?
Well, I have them on Asana, funny enough, the things that I do daily, like my follow-ups, callbacks. We've got on the back of our wall in the office minimum service standards that we like to keep to, but we probably need to review them, and like anything, they should be constantly reviewed. But things like, if you say you're going to do something, do it. It's a real simple one. Asana enables me to do that for sure. I think that's the biggest one, really. You know, don't bullshit. That's another one. You know, our industry seems to be full of bullshit. If you don't know the answer, say you don't know, and then find it out. So I think those are the two big things, and try and be on time. I think it's really disrespectful if you're late to things. It sort of seems that my time's more important than yours. So those are the three main ones, really.
Thank you. And you were the first guest that was earlier than should have been on there. So thank you.
There you go. Don't like being late.
And finally, if you were starting your own agency today, what would you do differently?
What would I do if I set up my own agency today?
Yeah.
I think, like you said, do about the Instagram poll and everything else. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily have an office. I just put all my energy into having the best possible database. That is where your business will flourish. The better your database, and fit, not fat. Doesn't have to be massive. You probably only need like 100 quality people on your database to thrive. You know, there's this misconception to me that you need to have thousands and thousands of people in a database. You don't. You need 1,000 committed people, and then you can create raving fans and get your business to grow that way. And be patient, you know. don't expect miracles, or Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not going to get everything that you want right first time. Just JFDI, isn't it?
JFDI. Yep, yeah. Just do it. Okay, so David Mintz has made a career out of wearing Speedos, apparently. Neil Giller, thanks very much.
I'll send you a picture later, David.
Tom, thanks very much for joining, and thanks for your message as well. And I've left a message for Pete, so hopefully we'll get him on here as well. If there's anyone else you would like to see in the industry on here, please put in the comment section and I will see what I can do. Ryan, really grateful that you've given up your lunchtime and your last day in Lake Garda before your nice, safe drive back home. So another 2 weeks.
Thank you very much for having me.
No, you're welcome. So have a safe trip. Thank you all for watching now or on replay. If there's anybody else that you think will benefit from it, please share it, tag them in, like it, get the message out there. Ryan shared loads and loads of gold today, which I'm really grateful for. So thank you. Next week, I'm going to be joined by Donald Collins, who runs an agency in Ealing called Go View, and then James DePavey, who runs an agency in Stafford, and we're going to have a chat. Tom literally just joined in for the last 30 seconds. Well, it's great. Thank you very much. Watch it.
Thanks, Tom.
On the Stephen J. Brown YouTube channel. Ryan, thanks very much. Thank you all. Have a great afternoon. See you all later. Bye.
See you later. Thanks, Stephen. See you later.